Hi guys, welcome back to Miss Goodman Storytime. We're going to read on with Boy in the Tower today. So remember, we left it on a bit of a cliffhanger where Addy had gone out to get some milk because he's forgotten to the day before with Gaia. And there were lots of policemen surrounding this abandoned pub that had fallen down where the two council workers had died. And he ended the last chapter by saying I decided I would run back to my tower. I could almost picture in my head exactly what was going to happen in the next few minutes. I'd run down the road, turn off down my first street and sprint past the policeman, and then run in a straight line to my tower, open the door and bang it behind me. The door would go slam, no problems. I'd be safe. And then we thought perhaps that wasn't going to happen. Chapter 19. I started running as soon as I left the shop. The bottle of milk felt heavy in my hands, so I had to hold it like a baby, and it made me slow down a bit. I turned down the street towards the policeman with one eye on my tower block in the distance. I wished I had never left it. I ran past the policeman, the bored one, the one who yawned, the one who looked like he wanted to go home and have his dinner. Then, suddenly, there was a shout. I stopped in surprise and turned back. Then I wished I'd just carry on running. One of the policemen I had just passed had fallen over. The policemen on either side of him were trying to help him up, but then as they kneeled down to help him, they fell to the ground too. It was as if they had all suddenly fallen asleep. Their helmets made a cracking sound as they hit the ground. Crack, 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 one after the other. I remember thinking it looked like a line of dominoes falling over, each one pushing past the next one over in a line that was coming towards me. I didn't know what to do. It's also strange when you only have a split second to decide. It seems impossible that you were able to think of so many things at once in your head. Part of me thought I should be helping them. Another part of me thought I would be falling asleep and falling to the ground next. And then, another part, the loudest part of all, was thinking of Gaia. Gaia's face shouting, "Run!" That is what I did. I dropped the milk and it exploded on the ground, and I ran away as fast as I could. I ran in my tower and I ran up to the stairs, and I did not stop running even when I reached my corridor. I ran into my flat and I slammed the door behind me, and I only stopped when I was in my bedroom and the door was closed behind me. I didn't have anywhere left to go. It took a long time for my breathing to slow down. I don't really know if it was from the running or what I had just seen. What had happened to those policemen? Why had they passed out like that? And the question I couldn't stop asking myself, had they just fallen asleep? Or was it something a lot more serious than that? Had they died? It was on the news that night. A group of policemen had been found dead, close to where the two council workers had been found. Their deaths were also being treated as suspicious. It's all becoming a lot more serious now, isn't it? Chapter 20. Suddenly, there were lots of people who arrived in big white vans with satellites on top. People got quite excited in school when we found out that these were TV people. We watched them through the bars of the playground. They had large black cameras perched on their shoulders like parrots. The newsreaders looked serious and worried one minute when the camera was in front of them, and then laughed and smoked cigarettes the next. Some of them even came over and started filming outside of our school. I ran away to the other side of the playground when they did that, and I went to find Gaia. She was not hanging around the cameras either. She was sitting under the sunflowers, picking up tiny little stones from the ground. I sat beside her. "Gaia, last night," I started, but then I stopped myself. I didn't really want to tell her what I had listened to, what I had seen, but I had to tell someone about what I had to tell someone about last night. Last night, I saw what happened. What do you mean? I saw what happened to those policemen. From your window? No, I was there. I was standing next to them when it happened. Gaia lifted her head and looked me straight in the eye. I'd forgotten to get milk, so I went really quickly to get some, and then I was running past the policemen and they started falling over, one after the other, just like they were falling asleep or something. I ran away when they started doing it. I didn't know that they were dying. I didn't know. They looked like they were just falling asleep. Didn't they look like they were in pain? Gaia asked. No, not really. They just fell down. It all happened pretty quickly. Gaia didn't say anything. It looked like she was thinking it through. What do you think made them die? I asked her. I've no idea, she said. I still don't think it's to do with the fallen buildings. I still think it is to do with the fallen buildings, though. The policemen were right by one of them, weren't they? Yeah, the same one as those other two men, but they were standing in front of it. Have you looked out of your window recently? Have you seen how the buildings are falling? What do you mean? There's a pattern, Gaia said. She reached into her pocket and brought out a folded piece of paper and handed it to me. It was a drawing, but it took me a moment to realise that it was a map. A map of where we lived. There was a drawing of Gaia's tower and my block and our school. Then there were lots of red dots which had numbers next to them. They roughly made a circle shape. In the middle of the circle was a star that was labelled Pub the George, which had a number 1 written next to it. I've been filling it in each night. The red dots are the fallen buildings and the numbers show the day they fell. It's how many days have passed since the first pub fell down. Can you see how it's spreading outwards? The number 2s and 3s are close to the pub, and then the 9s and 10s are on the outside. What's this one here? I pointed to a red dot that looked like it had a 1 and a 2 next to it. That's 12. 12 days after. It looks like the buildings which had been missed out are falling now. These are our blocks, I said. I pointed to the 2 wobbly drawings of our towers, one with a capital G above it and the other with a capital A. Yes, Gaia said. They're so close to the other fallen buildings. Our towers were right next to buildings which had fallen 5 days after the pub collapsed. It could be us next. Yeah, exactly, said Gaia. Have you shown this to anyone? I said. Gaia shrugged. I wonder if the police have realised this is happening, I said. I'm sure they know. Maybe they're hiding it from us so we don't all panic. What do you mean? Well, I was talking to my mum about it last night and she wants us to pack up and leave now. Leave? My voice sounded sharp and shaky all at the same time. Where would you go? She wants to go to my aunt's. She lives in Brighton. Mum said we should get out while we can. Brighton, where's that? South, down by the sea. I went there once when I was little. Are you going then? My dad doesn't want us to go. Oh, so you staying? I guess so. Dad usually gets his own way. Has your mum spoken to you about it? No. I'm not sure how much she knows about what's going on, to be honest. I guess I'm staying too. Here you go, I said, handing back the map. You can have it if you like. We can both fill it in. You can give it me back tomorrow. Okay, I said, and I put the map in my pocket. Neither of us could have known what we would not. Neither of us could have known that we would not see each other tomorrow, or the day after that, or the day after that. The very next day, they closed our school. People talking about leaving. People mysteriously dying. I wonder what's going to come next, and I wonder what is going to happen with Addie's mum. have a think about some questions before the next story time comes out. Think about those questions, the what ifs, the hows, those things that you want to know, and see if they get answered in the next few chapters. I'll see you then. Bye, boys and girls.